Yeah, loud. All day, nigga. Fuck it, finna go in. Loud. Look. I have never been concerned with any amount of money another man earned. To spend the habits of bass, the one to live lavish. The fast cash and the bright light look attractive. And you would sell your soul to try to get exclusive access. Your self-esteem never really mattered, it's the asset. You feel it's unimportant if it can't go in a bank account. I bet you put yourself in a position that you won't get out. You feeling stuck, I'm sure it's just to be you. I would never wanna make a record for a demographic or a trend that's gonna end in about a month or two. But what I'm finna do is something different. I set myself apart with honesty and now they listen. And forgive me if I got an attitude. I think it's obvious these other niggas full of shit. Can you really relate to it? They emulating everything they see up on the internet. I'm saying that it's pitiful but never passing judgment. Man, I think we need a serious topic for a discussion coming from a place of positivity. I said that I'm the sickest sinner, breathing unequivocally. I'm dealing with the agony and misery of staying in the same spot, feeling like I'm not progressing. Man, I've been running in place though. What the fuck you know about being stagnant? Every day I work but nothing ever seems to happen. Giving into distractions, fell in love with the habit. I can't deal with the hassle of trying to keep everything together. When I feel I'm at the limit, my opinion, I'ma keep it swimming in the deep end. Someone call a deacon, I can see the sign from the beginning, but I cannot make an adjustment. I'm just trying to find a better way that I can function with the melody, momentum of the movement, subduing your negativity. But simply the simile is send it to a sight to see the saddest song you'll ever sing. As you can sense, I'm losing everything. I need to take a seat. Now give me 1 minute, let me catch my breath. I am overly dedicated, you might say I'm obsessed, but no matter how you feel, I bet one day I'll be the best. You can attest or testify. I rectify the proper etiquette to eat, to be alive, and that was like work. It was delicate. I use it like a continental breakfast with the condiments. So keep a compliment. I got the common sense that you were never blessed with. Love. Shit ain't over. We gonna keep going next too. Love. Why am I fighting complacency? I cannot see what is wrong when I'm speaking on several subjects in the song. And I swear that it varies like seconds or minutes. That's one for atonement and one for forgiveness. The pitch cool can't take the way my pen whip it, invading your brain. And I brought Anglo-Saxons, assassins attacking and sacking your side if I die. Fuck it, I'll be playing Machiavelli to the death of me. The only man that I would ever write out the chronological order. I wanna try to put the fucking rhyming only if the time is perfect. Not collided with the verse, diversify with the kaleidoscope. I'm trying to go to Monaco to monetize the music, maybe make a couple classics. You illiterate bastards basking in the basic. You were going through phases, boy, am I amazing. I could've took the lyrics, turned them into something similar that we become accustomed to. I'm guessing you were cuckold out your company. The cadence with a blessing made it for the sentence. It's impressive when you never have to tell it. Like I put my hand up on the Bible, you can see me testify. I feel I'm really falling off. I pray to God that in my time and I was given some potential, but I never got my mind straight. I hit the holy water from the faucet or the hydration. Find me in the safest spot. I needed time to hibernate, to concentrate, to contemplate, to complicate the code. The nigga speaking, then I'm turning on my TV view and seeing. Then I'm seeing it's the same shit. A whole lot of unrest. Where is your compassion? I don't feel the empathy and nobody is listening. I'm wasting all my energy, but fuck it, I'ma bring it back and this time I'll be average. Real shit, just gonna dumb it down. Hey, what you want, a simple rhyme scheme, nigga? Double cup and never bluffing with some codeine, nigga. Pop a molly, we should party with some morphine, nigga. We could do it every day and turn a dope fiend, niggas. Now your tolerance is up, you want the whole thing, nigga. Man, you never did this shit when you was young. It was everybody around you influencing the way that you looking at it. Staring in the mirror, just the image of an addict. Your mind been ravaged from that car that you've been taking and you reminisce. But every day you're feeling like a vacant man, mistaken never people you could trust. I can tell you right now, homie, they don't give a fuck and nothing's ever enough. And no, you'll never be satisfied, you'll always want more. That's a fact that will forever remain. There is no amount of drugs that will ever mask pain. Man, you gotta keep it moving, try to leave it in the past tense. Love. Love. Knowledge. Nigga. You won't find me at the mall. Oh no, I'm not trying to ball. All that I want is something I can't call my own. Yes, I've adjusted the tone. Leave me alone. Promise that I'll never change. I'll stay the same till I'm no longer breathing. Believe in the words that I speak of the truth. You respect it, turn water to wine for a skeptic. Law. In my that's how that shit went. I wish we had found that version. It wasn't. No, I didn't say what he said, but it was close enough. I don't even understand what the nigga said on the real record. Nobody in rap says shit anymore. Like, they just mumble, including myself.
Yo, what's up, YouTube? What's up? I'm thinking this will be my last, and I don't know what to call these. These aren't really podcasts, you guys. I just don't know what to call them. I don't know what you call these things. But listen, I wanted to talk to you guys today about a few things. And let me start like this. I'm gonna give a shout out to let's see. I found someone else that Rapunzel ASMR reminds me of Kate Beckinsale from Underworld, and I wonder if she shares DNA with Kate Beckinsale from Underworld. and I think Kate is English, and I know Rapunzel is Dutch, but their bone structure, that you know what I'm saying, the look is, they definitely look damn near identical. It's fucking insane, to be honest. Along with that, I'll put some photos up here when I put this up. This is going to be a short podcast or whatever, you guys. But I want to talk about the vice president, the VP presidential debate, and this is just for those who are aware and who have ears to hear. For others, this is going to come off as very confusing to you. If you have been spoon fed, and your mind has not been exercised, then generally, you can find yourself being gaslit, okay, with the information that you get off the internet. Okay, the reason why I say this is because, like, remember when they were going to a la carte the internet, and like, not everybody was going to get the same. Everyone would have internet, but you're streaming ISP based upon your search or the things you search for or anything like that. Your internet was going to be optimized specifically for your taste, along with targeting ads and what have you, right? Well, when it comes to this, like right now, if I was to speak about something that I don't know, is that it would appear that, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, it feels like I'm traveling. You know what I'm saying? And when I say traveling, I'm talking about traveling time. And let's say you were to go back in time, hypothetically, just as a hypothesis, then the reflection that you experience when you look in a mirror, okay? If you were looking into the mirror and you as an individual was on the timeline that was going forward, okay? And you raise your right hand, and then you look in the mirror and you see yourself and you see the same hand raised, except, you see that it appears that the same hand is raised according to the eye. But if you were to lift the opposite hand, okay, your left hand, which is really your right hand, okay, in the mirror, okay, that would be an exact mirror image of what you are physically doing outside of the mirror, okay? But in the mirror, when you raise a particular arm, the same arm raises on the same side, right? So just go, if you have a chance, look in the mirror, raise your right hand. And when you look in the mirror, if you were to ask yourself if your right hand in the mirror is being raised or your left hand is being raised, you will find, in order how we've been accustomed, that when you raise your right hand, okay, your left hand, okay, is reflected to you in terms of the mirror, so that you see the same image, even though it is the exact opposite, okay? And the reason why I explain that is, if you were to go in the reverse side of time pertaining to a mirror, you would be doing things in reverse if you were to travel back in time, hypothetically, right, to some degree. So if you're going to travel back in time and you're still moving forward, you would be going against the herd that is used to moving along or going along with the flow. Okay. So when you talk about traveling times and time travel and things like that, things in the world that you're around can appear, okay, to be opposite. Okay. Why do I bring this up? I bring this up because, when I heard about J.D. Vance debating for vice president, I was super excited. I happen to remember JD from deep, you know what I'm saying, I guess what I would call deep state or a former lifetime. And this, like I told you, JD Vance is a shark. When it comes to that debate, he does that. That's what he does. Okay. He's a monster. Okay. When it comes to debate, he's a monster debater. And when I say monster, I'm not pointing out anything evil. He is just a very great debater. Okay. Um, but watching the vice president, the VP debate, I noticed some things, and there was a particular reason why I was excited about JD Vance debating, and I still enjoy watching, JD Vance debate. But many of you, if you follow along the for many of you, if you happen to remember when they activated CERN, the Mandela effect, okay, and we had operated CERN, then we had something called the Mandela effect, right, where certain situations or instances would change. And the fact of the matter is that we live in a world that has every possibility that could potentially happen. Everything happens at once, so to speak. So this gives you the situation and scenario in which you have every opportunity to do any particular thing in an open live world experience. All right. When they talk about open world video games and things of this nature, this world, anything that could possibly happen happens at every moment. All right. At every junction of your life, infinite possibilities of things that can occur to show you that there are many different realms. This, I suppose, would be the power of what individuals would deem as magic. When you have when individuals do magic or they do witchcraft, when you look at Doctor Strange or whatever, they have the ability to open doors to other worlds and things of this nature. If you like a sorcerer or a warlord or things of this nature. Now, these things I can't practice under my faith. I trust that the Most High will take care of those things. And you'll have to forgive me for my last podcast, because even though it was justified and it was honest, the fact of the matter is there are several details that I was not aware of, because I wasn't I was aware of them, but I wasn't necessarily privy to this type of information. It's the fact that that I'm traveling time. That's why the day star, when people talk about the day star is sent to you when you travel time, because this side of the timeline is an outlier timeline where people are not aware in many instances that they are dead. Okay. And I'm not saying necessarily that they're physically dead. I want to keep you from going into any form of morbidity in what I'm saying. I'm talking about when Christ talks about let the dead bury their dead. He's talking about people who may have spiritually passed away. Because you could pass away before your body passes, right? Because the ways of this matrix and what have you are so intense, right, that sometimes individuals could get stressed out and they could get snatched out of here for that, for their own well-being, I suppose, the mercy of God and what have you. But I was feeling like, in my last podcast, I was seeing all these crazy things go down around me and circumvent around me. And I started thinking to myself that I thought that the Most High, or, the Heavenly Father, I thought that he had abandoned me, because I'm like, he's got to be showing up any minute, or I got to be getting my portal or my door to get out of here, to get back to Hyperia, and I'm still here, So I started getting frustrated, because I felt like, you know what I'm saying? I thought, like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, they stabbed me in the back, man. Like they totally, they forgot about me and everything like that. Now I'm going to be just stuck, you know what I'm saying, on this timeline where a bunch of chaotic things happen and things switch around. And, so I was tripping over that, right? But that's not the case, you guys. It came to mind. I got some rest and everything, and it came to mind. I started to remember certain details of where I was at, spiritually. And this is what I mean when I pay attention to, and I'll get back to the topic of what I'm talking about. But when I pay attention to when I talk about how people walk, you guys, it's not so much how they physically walk. How they physically walk is a symptom of what type of direction that individual has in life. Does that individual walk with a sense of purpose? Do they kind of wander? Do they wallow? And it gives me an idea of their psychology. Of if they is this an individual that makes plans? Is this an individual that's a go-getter? Is this an individual that moves with some type of purpose, or does this individual move about as a gnat? With no particular purpose, and just kind of gets in the way, like some type of free radical cell in the body. You know what I'm saying? When you walk through a swarm of gnats, and they have no distinct pattern in which they fly, and they fly back and forth also, okay, over the same area, almost as if they pace as I pace inside of, my safe house when I don't have anything to do, because I have a lot of energy, okay? But what I'm trying to bring about to you is this, man. With the Mandela effect and the quantum situation, when you are existing in this binary construct, all right, of what you understand as physical reality of zeros and ones that the scripture calls the matrix, things are prone to change. So when CERN, okay, when CERN is activated, right, it opens a door. Okay, is what's happening. It opens a door, and this door that opens is large enough to fit the entire, let's just say, world into, right? And certain peoples begin to travel on a different timeline. Now, if you have not spiritually passed, in many instances, what will happen is you need an enormous amount of energy to travel through space-time, right? So what God will do is He will send you the day star, okay? And the day star is the sun, basically, and He'll put the sun into your spirit body. So because traveling in this direction, you're traveling through antimatter, and antimatter, it draws energy. It draws things from you. Okay, you're in a situation of just like there is the situation of bloodletting. It's kind of like bloodletting, only it pertains to energy. Okay, this will be correlative with looshing. The entire direction in which we're traveling, it requires a lot of energy, and you will experience a lot of symptoms such as your digestive system will slow down. If you're consciously aware and you're very active, like me, I have hyperactivity, you will find that maybe sometimes individuals may move oddly, and they will tend to be in your way, and when you have that amount of energy, it will draw these individuals that have lots of antimatter in their vessel, or these organic portals to you, and so it makes it very difficult to navigate and walk, and because they get in your way. And the thing is this, man, and they get in your way intentionally. Well, not until let me break this down. Not necessarily intentionally, but at a subconscious level. When we talk about the bonding of metaphysical materials such as atoms and things of this nature, and opposites attract. If you have a massive amount of energy, such as a day star, then it's going to draw all sorts of entities to you, animals alike, things of this nature. Now, being on this side of the timeline and drawing these types of entities, life forms, people to you, you're going to get the worst of the worst because you're on a certain side of the timeline. You understand what I'm saying? Over here, this is like the negative zone. Okay, so you'll draw to you insects and gnats, and you'll draw to you individuals that are filled with the same matter as insects and gnats. So you will have human beings that behave as not like in terms of personality, but in terms of how they move and how they wander as insects or gnats, because they're just kind of like, they're somewhat tranced out on this side. You understand what I'm saying? Their spirit may be somewhere else, literally. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, and over here, individuals who are filled with that antimatter, if one is not strong pertaining to spiritual warfare, it will break down. Okay, it will break down your personality. If you're charismatic or a individual that has a big heart, this type of antimatter or this negative field, it will gnaw at your better qualities, and this is a situation of making it to your destination is based more so on endurance than anything. Okay, because all I'm trying to say to you is a very trying field and way to travel, and the world goes through somewhat of a state. And I'm not going to describe this movie. You'll have to look up the preview. Maybe I will put this in the video, but it's called Annihilation. If I remember, it's a film called Annihilation with Natalie Portman, where everything in this world or on this side of the situation, because you're traveling at a fast speed, would seem to be juxtaposed or cross-referenced, and sometimes major things and details get flip-flopped around. It is as a underground railroad, so to speak. Okay, so going back to this thing, okay, pertaining to and you also have another symptom that is spoken of amongst spiritual Israel is confusion of face, where individuals, and this is where I get into look into individuals, and I'll say, wow, these individuals really look similar. I wonder if they share DNA or something of this nature. You see what I'm saying? But on this side, your digestive system slows down, and there is a lot of grateful help for individuals if you find that you're experiencing some of this situations, even though this channel isn't geared towards time travel or anything. You take the information that you need. If you're experiencing some types of trouble from this type of travel, a good channel I suggest again is Motivational Doc on YouTube. Okay, there's great advice. You experience, like I said, a lot of extreme and wonky symptoms because you're traveling at such a fast rate that reality hybridizes into a archonic hyper reality, so to speak, where other individuals experience things in chronological order. You experience things on a basis of summaries. You understand what I'm saying? Your reality would be as a summary, or would be as a epic of the opposite timeline on the other side. Okay, that's going in the forward direction. Okay, so where they would need to experience 10 events, you would experience one event that summarizes all 10 events. So it's a lot more intense traveling this direction. Okay, but things are subject and prone to change over here as far as structural things that are things that you would seem to think would be structural. As in, I was excited for J.D. Vance running for vice president, because I know he is a hell of a debater. He's an amazing debater. He really is. Tim Walz is fantastic as well. He really is. Both candidates are very sharp. I had personally known J.D. Vance. Okay, and he was very professional when he at a much earlier, when he was a lot younger. So he carries himself well. Both candidates conduct themselves well. You will have to excuse, and I'm unbiased when I look at these debates and everything, but I do have a particular bias, just in the sense that I had met J.D. Vance before, okay, in a former lifetime. Okay, this is not going to anything pertaining to me voting. When I vote, is completely unbiased. Okay, but this is the major thing that I want to point out to you. The major thing that I want to point out to you is this, man. JD is when I would say a while back, J.D. Vance was was running for vice president, and it said that Kamala Harris, I read a headline, that Kamala Harris was looking was acquiring J.D. Vance as a vice president. Okay, and that's what it said. And we know that Kamala is a Democrat, right? But when I watched the debates, J.D. Vance was debating as a Republican. When I look online, it said that he'd always been a Republican for I guess the past 40 years, or he's 40 years old, but he's always been a Republican, right? But the fact of the matter is, it doesn't line up to me, because there was definitely articles saying that it was Kamala J.D. Vance. It was a lot of that, and I will even tell you that in the former world that I was in, because I've traveled quite a bit since I seen that was maybe it could have been 2 months ago, up to 2 months ago. Okay, that I seen this, but I've traveled since then. But it was Kamala and it was Kamala and J.D. Vance, and I got excited about it, because I was like, yo, it's a wrap, because if Kamala gets J.D. Vance, it's a wrap, because J.D. Vance I know he's a shark. When it comes to debating, I mean, that's his song. That's what he does, man. He knows, he does that. Okay, that's his field, and he's very good at it. So I was excited about that, and I was thinking like, well, that's a wrap. It's definitely it's going to the Democrats, because you put that in the mix. Kamala's sharp, and JD is sharp as well. But the fact of the matter, man, is this: something has switcherooed here, because now JD Vance, like I said, if you go online, it says that he's been a Republican. And he's in the Republican Party. It says that he's always been in the Republican Party, but that's not what it said 2 months ago in that other world. It didn't say that. It said that it was going to be Kamala and J.D. Vance. I know this 100% for a fact. Okay. I told my sister, I texted her that I bet my salvation on it. This was not something that I misheard or misread. This is something that I know for a fact. It was there. Okay. So this makes me a little bit concerned pertaining to, like, for me, I don't really do the voting thing. I explained for the reasons why, for my personal reason. And but I voted once, and the one time I voted was for Barack Obama, former President Barack Obama. Okay. Outside of that, I have not. And it was for one term. But outside of that, I generally don't meddle with politics and things of this nature, because I didn't have the mind for it when I was going through things on the other side of the timeline in chronological order. I just placed my faith in God, and whoever is going to be president, he would steer the ship. Okay, that the Most High would, you know what I'm saying, lead us all as a nation, to steer the ship. But the fact of the matter is this, man. J.D. Vance was on the Democratic side. Something switcheroo. Okay. And I can tell you this, that also that another key thing to indicate on the switcheroo is that J.D. Vance also was speaking about women's rights and so on and so forth, which is a major thing. So he speaks of democratic things. He's also had help from, the system, pertaining to, what I'm saying, some form of general assistance from the government, in order, and how he was raised and what have you. His mother raised him, and he's saying he knows, he understands the system and things of this nature. Now, if you look at the substance of what J.D. Vance is saying, this is a sounds very democratic to me. You know what I'm saying? And now they have him over on the Republican side. There was a debate between him and Tim Walz, and Tim Walz is debating for the Democrats, and you have JD debating for the Republicans. And I think this is Mother testing out the citizens in America. And this you want to be very careful of, because I can tell you one thing about Mother is that she does not like to be lied to. Okay, that's not something that you want to be caught doing. Okay, when I talk about Mother, I'm talking about this cube we're inside of, which appears to be alive. It's definitely sentient. Okay. The nature and the trees around you, the birds and things like that, the spirit that regulates all of this stuff is alive, okay? And the fact of the matter is, when it comes to presidency and things of this nature, it's not so much the president that I look at. I look at who voted for the president. I'm more concerned with the people. How did this happen? You know, when it comes to things like, if we get a bad, so to speak, a quote unquote, a bad president, or if there's something that people vote on, or if there is a poll of some sort and there's something that is distasteful that comes into the picture, I don't look at the image that is running the movement. I look at the audience that is supporting that movement. And I'm saying, the individual that's running the movement almost would seem to be a fall guy or afterthought in comparison to the large number of crowds and representatives or peoples who would back this individual or this movement, right? That exist in society amongst you. You understand what I'm saying? So let's say hypothetically, just a hypothetical, Darth Vader was in society, became president of the United States of America, right? And I want to be clear with you. This is not in correlation with former President Donald Trump. I'm giving you just a scenario, okay? So let's say Darth Vader became the president of the United States. Now, while people would throw eggs and tomatoes and things of this nature at Darth Vader, if he was speaking on stage as a podium, okay, Darth Vader would be acting more as a messianic, almost a messianic figure, or archonic figure, or a figurehead, okay, for these crowds of people who support his ideals, okay? And the fact of the matter is, while society will come together to get mad, to get mad at Darth Vader, a lot of instances in which with society, people are more concerned with looking at the figurehead of a movement rather than looking at the core audience, because these are the psychologies that surround you in society. A lot of people have a deer in headlights type of psychology. When it comes to, when you watch the news and they have serial killers and all types of shit on there, people don't realize that these are the same individuals that are standing behind you at the fucking grocery store. These are the same individuals that you may have went to school with. These people just don't disappear and hide under the rock and then all of a sudden you see them on the news. Okay, so you have to be aware of your surroundings. You understand what I'm saying? So the fact of the matter is this: it's more important to look at the audience, is what I'm telling you, than it is to look at it's important to look at the individual, but it's also more so important that it opens your ears and makes you aware of what type of spirits or psychology, because politics is a situation where we have a pole, okay, that allows us to probe into society and figure out what is the most popular psychology or mentality that's around us in common everyday society. And this is important when it comes to getting a job or you have to meet with somebody important and things of this nature, because if you have a disagreement on something as major as politics, you don't want to put that out there, because that could jeopardize you from getting a job, even though it's non-correlative. Okay? So it's important to look at these types of things. Okay? So this is what I'm saying. If Darth Vader gets voted as president in America, while people will worry over Darth Vader, what they should really worry about is the people who voted for Darth Vader, because it says something about their psychology also. You understand what I'm saying? Something's wrong in their psychology also to vote for someone as Darth Vader. You see what I'm saying? And you also need to realize, well, what type of things do Darth Vader do? Does Darth Vader lie? Does Darth Vader cheat? Does Darth Vader do these certain types of things? Okay? And the fact of the matter is, this is just an example for you Darth Vader fans out there. One thing that I think is interesting about Darth Vader being a villain is you will find that Darth Vader does not lie, and it doesn't seem like he cheats either. Isn't that interesting? Okay? But pertaining to the psychologies that would favor this type of personality, okay, in order to vote him into office, okay, that may have a strong hand, okay, because Darth Vader is about order, all right, and the image and representation of this order would seem almost as if it is fascist when you look at Star Wars, does it not? But at the same time, just because Darth Vader is an individual with order, or he's very passionate about what he does. Of course, he does some things like, he'll telekinetically choke people, which is effed up or whatever. For the most part, Darth Vader, as far as perception goes, he really almost seems to be a sharp shooter, a straight shooter. Okay, the rebellious side would seem to be along with the Jedi. Okay. This is correlative with archetypes. It's just that how he runs his Darth Vader runs his ship, and it's a type ship, and it pertains to things such as that is the military. It makes perfect sense why Darth Vader runs his ship that way. He has to. Okay, and I'm just bringing these things into effect and giving you different perceptions. Bringing this back around about being concerned for the psychologies and the type of loopholes and things of this nature that may particularly vote a particular person into office simply by understanding who someone voted for, or maybe the statistical number. This gives you lots of insight of your surroundings, so that you know how to conduct yourself, because you may have to blend in if you have different beliefs to a certain degree. If you want to keep a job or have a career, you can't be as outspoken, as somebody who is in alignment with someone that is their manager or boss that maybe voted for the same individual. Okay, if you don't want to rock the boat pertaining to having a smooth sail at a place that you work or anything otherwise. So the point of the matter is this. I believe that Mother is conducting a test to find out who is sincere and who is being honest. Okay? And we call this Mandela effects, and some people call it quantum pollution. And this situation is in such that if an individual is just going through the motions and flighty and things of this nature, they're not going to notice that J.D. Vance was originally running as a Democrat. They're going to look at me and say that it's crazy because their psychology is based on the internet, which means I know that they're lacking, they have a memory issue. And I also know what would cause a memory issue, because during this side of the timeline, during this negative field, this negative zone, there are a lot of gaslights and things like this that happen that causes an individual's mind, okay, to tear or rip apart. It is almost an act of mercy when the memories, okay, when the memories and the details of these memories change, if somebody is on this side of the timeline or pathway for some particular reason where they are just going through the motions, that they do not suffer certain things and instances that may come about in life. That's about as smooth as I could put it. You will have to meditate what I said about that last section there. I'm not going to get into that because, a lot of people think that I'll be talking about dark things or I'm trying to be dark. I'm just trying to inform you guys. Okay. But if you have Tim Walz and J.D. Vance, and they're both candidates for vice president, and now you have Tim Walz as a Democrat and you have J.D. Vance as a Republican, then you see that's a major swap from what was formerly advertised, and I suppose a world that I passed. This is what I say. It seems like I change worlds because major details will change. Or when you watch The Matrix, when he sees the cat twice walk by him, when Neo sees the cat walk by him twice and he gets deja vu, you know what I'm saying? There's no textbook on this thing. It pertains to someone being aware. And if one is not able to be aware, then your next best defense is memory. All right. The better your memory is, the sharper your awareness is going to be. Most people struggle with a memory problem. Okay. If you struggle with this thing, a lot of active ingredients that coincide with having a better memory pertains to caffeine. Okay. Which may help you on this side of the timeline because on this side of the timeline, your digestive system slows down because of the price. The cost of inflation is not necessarily correlative with world events, but due to time travel. No human can do anything about it. You understand what I'm saying? So this is what is going on this side of the timeline, and this is why this side of the timeline, so many individuals end up in a situation where they have hip dysplasia. You understand what I'm saying? This side of the timeline is as a grizzly bear, and mother will eat her children. The lion goes after the prey that is weak. You understand what I'm saying? And your mind and psychology has a lot to do with traveling through this space and time. And if you're not able to keep up to snuff, then you will be put through a series of situations where you will be pimped out by your own personal needs and desires to where you either become a commodity or you have some form of hip dysplasia, and then that'll go into fucking up your mind. And it is a form of departure, okay, from this world, okay, and it happens at a quantum level. All right, the individuals you see in this world and things of this nature, these are like just chess pieces. When you think about the Matrix, it's just like that. These are chess pieces that's on the board. Now, the individuals that's trying to go about and fix things and get things moving in the correct direction, these individuals may be seen to be as being extreme or any other type of thing, because most people live inside of a bubble and they're not sharp and they're not with it and they're not aware and their memory is not. Okay? They're already in it with that. They're already in a situation headed towards stagnancy. And that's why, you know, on this side of the timeline, it's good to have something that you focus on. So even though the fact that I can't have a job, I focus on, and it makes that's making sense now. Okay, on this side of the timeline. But sorry, hang on. The reason why they fly X's in the sky and things like that is because the spirit over this side of this world that makes it this way is a killer and a murderer from the start. He is this side of the timeline is the tree of knowledge of good and evil. This entity that individuals call Ray, which really Ray is not his name. This is the adversary. This is the Antichrist. He has the ability to change times and laws. And this is the entity that individuals talk about when they talk about Havana syndrome, that causes individuals' mind to be flighty on this side of the timeline. That is the killer. The killer is the Antichrist spirit, and it's written in the Bible. Oh, it would be so much easier if it was just one guy. Now, you could have representatives of the spirit, and which has been despirited. This entity, in many times and places, will come into effect and take over the host body. Okay, and utilize that individual to rip and tear apart individuals that are closest to them, no different than a zombie movie. All right, and this is where you get familiar spirits, and you say, man, I really thought I knew that person, but I didn't. You know, they may be going through a hell of a time or being oppressed by this Antichrist spirit. You know, this is why I'm not able to work on this side of the timeline. He's despite how evil he is exceedingly childish of all things. A peon. A peon obsesses over power. Okay? An individual with power does not obsess over power, nor do they look to show how much power they have. Rather they take the humble route. If anything, they try to blend in. They go the peaceful route. They do things according to necessity. But a peon is nothing but exploits. That's how this Antichrist is. And he will do things even as much as to steal or rob individuals of the memory. This is also written in the Bible where he says, well, God gives you a good thing, then the devil will come, or Satan, which means adversary, will come shortly after to take that good seed out of your mind, to take it away from you. This happens perpetually on this side of the timeline. He wants you depressed. He wants you to have anxiety. He wants you to have dis-ease. He wants you to have these things. He wants you to have concern. He wants you to have worry. And he takes advantage of any inconsistency down to physical elements in your body, anything that would cause you to throw off your mind. This is what this entity does, because he does not have a vessel necessarily of his own in particular, but he has many vessels, okay, pertaining to individuals who are walking around this earth who may have gotten their soul snatched out of them. Okay, so when it comes to mother who is testing you, okay, the thing about nature is, as beautiful as nature is, when we talk about mother nature, as beautiful as nature is, and even individuals who work in the crafts, as beautiful as nature is, or as witchcraft may seem, as cool as witchcraft may seem to be as well, all these correlate on mother's side. Okay, you got to think in a spiritual context. It's a large scope that correlates with what we would call quote unquote mother. Okay, Mother Earth correlates with the human being, or that is comprised of carbonite of the body, as you are comprised of the dust of the field. You are Mother Earth incarnate. Okay, so and he snagged. The reason why when you guys hear me get snagged like this when I'm talking to you is because he takes that out of my mind. He's so paranoid of me uploading anything online. He's the one that's goaltending me on Google. But we're at a certain level of awareness. Not only can you hear him, you can sense him. So his ninjutsu does not work. Okay, it does not work. I can hear the spirit. I can hear what he says. For people who don't understand what is going on, they start feeling like they're going psychologically crazy or schizophrenic, or the fact that they're hearing voices because they don't understand spiritual things. And from a medical standpoint pertaining to science, for an individual who is, doesn't deal with Christianity or any type of spiritual things that will correlate with understanding spirits, okay, this is why they start advertising things such as BetterHelp and things of this nature. I can't go headlong as a medical professional or a psychologist into indoctrinating you with the Bible, okay? In an open free world where you have your own free choices, that would be a malpractice, okay? So this is why this entity is able to run rampant, is because people don't have the knowledge that they need. They don't have that good knowledge that they need out of the Bible, and they get utilized and taken advantage of as commodities. You see, because he tried to take your mind. He tried to kill you, okay, while you're still standing. Let the dead bury their dead. It's written in the Bible, and we know dead people don't bury other dead people. No one comes out of the grave to bury somebody else unless you could die while you're still alive. Okay, so this is what it talks about when it talks about cannibalism, things at a high level. When you talk about spiritual cannibalism, we're talking about this entity that individuals call Ray. Okay, this is what is going on in this situation. Individuals, especially females, end up on this side of the timeline, and they're hard up for certain things, groceries, basic necessities. All of this is done on purpose. The Antichrist hates females the utmost. You have no idea how much he hates females. He's trying to kill all of them. If he could, that's what he would do. Okay. In this situation, this is where young ladies oftentimes end up that typically wouldn't, having to promote their body. And this is why I wanted to know earlier when I was traveling, because I've been traveling for about 10 years. I'm like, what side of the game am I on? What part of the game is this? What side of the timeline am I on? Because I remembered that there was a timeline, and I start cracking jokes because I if as if I wanted a girlfriend, okay, and I can't have one, which he doesn't allow. If you're a dude, he doesn't want you to have a girlfriend. He's going to try to set you the other way. He's going to take away your job. He's going to take away everything from you and try to make you as hard up as a female because he wants you to himself. In other words, he'll occupy a vessel. And a lot of times he'll turn these dudes and he start dating the dudes, or individuals that's dating a female will end up with a relationship problem because what God puts together, he tries to put asunder. Okay? So these relationship problems and things like this, a lot of individuals don't know that at higher levels, at higher spiritual levels, there are adjustment bureaus and things, powers under him where he orchestrates things to tear people apart. And what happens after individuals get upset and they have a broken heart? When individuals get upset and have a broken heart, when you see with the music industry and things of this nature, Good Girl Gone Bad, so on and so forth, what happens is these individuals get their heart broken. And when they get their heart broken, they start seeking a different way to turn. In other words, they just say, with this whole love thing, I give up. And when they say I give up or whatever, they start going a new direction. And that's the direction that he's going. All right. The reason why he goes this direction, because the only thing that he would hate more than females is the babies that they produce. This is why the Bible calls this reprobation, because obviously he is going to encourage. Although it's written in Timothy, it's okay if an individual can choose what lifestyle that they want. Okay. But if they're, in Christ. But the thing is, it's like if you don't have the scripture or you're not pertaining to the other facilities of the spirit of life and you get wrapped up in this lifestyle and things of this nature, you've already cut out pertaining to natural development, okay, a future unless you adopt. You see what I'm saying? This is Agenda 21, the LGBT and trying to kill the baby. Not so much as in the movement, but you see I have to go through all of that to be able to take my foot off of the mind to let you know I'm not after the LGBT like that. I'm just saying that there is a work in place. How do you know if you're really like that? Okay? Individuals, when this thing turns into a movement and there's agendas, then there's a lot of confusion in the place, and that's how his ninjutsu works. His ninjutsu works by creating a mess. He creates a lot of mess, just like a little kid would. He's childish. Okay? So he's trying to get rid of your promise. He's trying to get rid of your future. Okay? And you will find that everything in your life will start to dry up. Your friends will turn away. No different in the Bible. You see many characters, their friends turn away, their family turns away. Everybody is adverse to them. They're going through supernatural, paranormal events, and they have no one to back them. Each of the individuals in Scripture are targeted individuals. So anybody that looks to diagnose me, the first thing I want to say is that this individual is not Christian. But here's the funny thing. You could go to a lot of churches that will send you to a medical professional. A, because they don't know how to deal with what you're talking about. B, it's because those are secrets that they can't talk to you about. And in order to earn their bread, they had to make a certain sacrifice to take care of their family. And this monster, this Antichrist, he takes advantage of that and he tries to reap you. It's the fallen angel. Okay? That's what's going on this side. No, and he throws people in jail, and there's many people that are demonized, that are celebrities and things of this nature, where they get bad press or it's a killing of their character. Okay? That individuals don't have nearly all the details of what happened. Okay? Whatever you heard, you never got the full story when it comes to these celebrities. This entity tries to kill their light and make them appear a certain type of way. This is what he fucks with. He fucks with perception. It's just like someone taking a jab at your eyes, putting their fingers or throwing their hands up in your face in the midst of a fight. It's going to throw your senses off. Okay, so once he changes your perception and your perspective, then you start becoming an open source, because the only choices and things you have are going to exist within a container, as you have cut off all the other opportunities or choices that you could make based upon the blinders put over your eyes. And then the last state is he will start to engineer pride within this individual. And you see a changing of the heart, where this individual all of a sudden ends up with a shadow eye or an evil eye. Okay. And they start looking less cute and more sexy. You understand what I'm saying? Think about it. When you look at the difference between cuteness. Hold on. Let me see how long I've been talking to you guys. The difference between a young lady that is cute and a young lady that is sexy, okay, even though that they are both attractive, okay, is that the format or the look of someone that appears to be sexy is that you have to own the fact that there is something that seems to have broke inside of the psychology of the individual that is sexy. This is an individual that a lot of times you can't just look sexy. A cute girl can look attractive and she can look more cute. She can doll herself up and everything like that. But that doesn't make her sexy. Sexy is a type of aura. Okay. And in order to get there, there's generally something that an individual has had to disassociate and had to put through, had to go through and put on a strong face in order to survive. Sexiness is a type of brokenness. This is a individual oftentimes that has a broken ring, and a lot of times they have a bit of this entity that individuals call Ray, even though that is, I don't think that is not necessarily his name. Okay, that is the entity that you all are speaking of. That entity is Satan. Okay, that does that type of shit. All right, but he tries to normalize it amongst society. This type of pyramid scheme in which individuals go through a Jim Crow of circumstances, which changes their behaviors based upon their needs by controlling their circumstances, because everyone around you that has elevated into the echelons of society has had to do it by making dramatic, insane sacrifices that they cannot even speak about. It is no different than telling a small child, shh, after he has either been sexually abused or beaten half to death by some type of alcoholic. This little secret is between you and I. This is happening on a massive level in society. So the ones that are hurt don't cry out. So you need discernment in order to notice that. You know, if I'm fucked up in some type of way and you ask me how I'm doing, I'm going to tell you fine, even if I have a bullet in my head. You want to know why? Maybe not to that same extremity, but let me put it like this. Even if everything is going horrible for me and I go into work, okay? Let's say I look like warmed over shit. Let's say it looked like I got worked over. What do them little kids tell you? They say, "Oh man, what happened to you? You're all banged up. You're all beat up or whatever." And they say, "Oh man, you know how I'm clumsy." Nah, that individual isn't clumsy. You ain't never seen that individual fall or slip or anything like that around you the whole time that you know them. Okay, but you don't put that two together. You just say, "Oh, okay, they must have, they had a real bad, accident, or they slipped and fell," because the circumstance of what happened to them has circumvented around something else. And that something else pertains to an agreement. And part of that agreement is secrecy. So you have to be able to discern through several layers of psychology and things of this nature. Because if you go according to perception alone, you're going to be fucked. Forgive me, but that's what it is. You're going to be fucked. Hey, man, it's the same thing as in, this is what I mean about it. It's the same thing as in the Garden of Eden. You know, the fruit looked good to eat. We're talking about appearances. We're talking about reading books only by the cover. Okay? We do this with people all the time. Society trains you to lie. What do you think interviews are for? And when do you ever leave an interview? You have a different face for the world when you go outside of your house. You have a different face if you're going to that job for a first time. You see what I'm saying? When you meet your girlfriend or when you meet your boyfriend, you have a certain face on. You're not yourself as you were just like in your pajamas when you woke up in the morning. When you start dealing with real things, it's like, maybe this is the way I prefer you because it's honest. I can understand who you are. But society doesn't operate off of that way. We become very superficial. Okay? And the more superficial you are, the more things you have to remember. And as those memories start to break down, then you become a commodity of society based upon your needs, your wants, and your desires. You see, this is the trifecta of what this Antichrist goes after to control. And once he breaks you down to your needs, then he tries to feed you to the fowls of the air. This is what Goliath told David in scripture. In other words, what do? You then start searching up, but let's say you have a drug addiction, or let's say that you need groceries. Okay. Then what he'll do is like, well, in order to get that, you gotta give up your, you gotta give up, you know what I'm saying? You gotta give up your ass. You gotta give up your vagina. You gotta give up something that is keen to yourself, that will cause you to disassociate, because he works with the mind. As he traumatizes you over periods of time to need things that you need, and opportunities are thwarted away from you, then you'll permanently have to give up ass or vagina, or you'll get into wet work. Okay. You'll be utilized as some type of bodyguard or independent consultant or contractor of some sort. Okay? This is what happens here. Okay? And it's because if we were more conscious as individuals in society or whatever, maybe we could find another way. But the fact of the matter is, we have many vulnerabilities, and one of those is, as a youth, you're just still learning how to read or write, or how to walk or ride a bike. You're not thinking on this caliber of a level. Okay. And things happen to you while you were at school, and it happens throughout the course of your life. And this same familiar spirit manipulates all of these circumstances. And it's the internal battle that people are fighting while they die inside, because they're worried about their image or reputation when they walk outside of their house. Okay. In order to get that job. And as employers hire more and more of these cookie cutter type personalities with different faces that have the same spirit, okay, when you are honest and go about trying to get a job or raise up in society or whatever, why would they want to tarnish or blemish that image of perfection that, while the Antichrist is so caught up in and making commodities out of society, okay, he is after the perfection of Christ. So if you have a Fortune 500 company and you have all of these individuals that look the part, even though somebody is most excellent at a particular job, they're not going to hire that blemish because it does not look good. They don't have the look. They don't have the image. Okay? But you couldn't find a better singer. But they don't have the look or image, so you throw them away altogether. Of course, they can get there if they give up enough, or they make a certain sacrifice. Okay, so when you have a message and you're trying to reach the youth or the public, and you have a good message, a lot of these celebrities have given their lives over in this spiritual war, in this spiritual battle, and have gave up their life in order to get you a message that you would not have unless they made that sacrifice. They made that sacrifice to get you a message, because that's how many lies are in this world. This entity controls this, knows how to work this technological cube or whatever that we exist inside of, and this is his game. These are the games that he played. They're really fucked up games, and you're part of it. Okay, you can't back out of it. You can't say that you don't want to be a part of it. This is how it goes. Okay, so you have to. The first thing you're going to really need, okay, you're going to need to have a connection if you want to be 100% honest with God, and you want to have a relationship with Jesus Christ. They will fortify your mind. They will protect your mind against a lot of these attacks. Okay. What happens is you get a spiritual seal of Christ's blood, and when you get a spiritual seal of Christ's blood, you are able to perceive and be aware of a higher level of things, such as I'm able to hear and perceive spirits in the spirit world and know that I'm not schizophrenic and be able to keep the two worlds separate to where I can be sane in this world and no one could come at me crazy. I can articulate from the spiritual world into the physical world where no one could call me crazy. If someone tries to diagnose me, I can pull that psychologist or whatever by the spirits that they're possessed with. You know, there's a lot of things that can be done. But you want to fortify your mind after you, and when I say have a relationship, this does not mean have a relationship with religion. It means have an active relationship with the Most High God. Meditate on the word, and there's nothing wrong with talking to God. He can hear you. Okay? But if you go to church and you say that you talk to God, one of these institutions, these huge churches, and you say that you talk to God, they're going to put you in a fucking nut house. Why? Because your image doesn't look good. You don't look right. These same individuals are not spiritual. You could have knowledge of the Bible. The devil has knowledge of the Bible. He knows that whole Bible backwards and forwards. He knows it. He knows it better than you. Okay? But having knowledge is not the same as having a relationship. It's not Jeopardy to get into the kingdom of heaven. You don't play a game of Jeopardy. That's not what it's about. Because all of these things pertain to images. And also knowledge is a hell of a pitfall because knowledge can puff up and cause pride. Okay? But the shit that I tell you about whatever container I am, being hella smart and shit like that. Hey man, I gotta tell you, all praise and glory to the Most High God. But I gotta tell you something. The reason why I'm better is because I hate that. I just want to be a part of society. I want to have a normal life, have friends, things of this nature. I can't because this entity does not like to bump heads with individuals that stand on 10 toes. And the only way you can stand on 10 toes is having a relationship with God and having a strong fortified mind that is practicing that word. I'm able to go rounds. You understand what I'm saying? With anybody, I got something for anybody that wanted that come at me in an awkward way, they're gonna get taken apart. You know, this is the power of that scripture. And that devil know people don't know how to utilize that scripture. That's why he gave you religion and institutionalized churches that are funded by a 501c3, regulated by the Church of England. Okay? You're more indoctrinated in Christianity than you actually are Christian. Now, see, I talk about real shit. And now you got these faggots with these fucking lawnmowers that come out. When I was walking down here to the park, this dude with this lawnmower company, these guys, they drive by real slow or they stare at you. And I got to tell you, these niggas got one mistake fucking with me. One. You know what I'm saying? One. You know, I don't have my matches today. I didn't bring my knife. You know what I'm saying? But I'm so angry and I hate this place so much. I'll forget about that Daystar in a second. God is saving you guys. I'll take a nigga by his forearm and burn us both. Just because I hate them so much. I know what spirits they have in there. And I'll still go to heaven. Ain't that a bitch? And I'll still be back. So I hate traveling. I hate this world. To be honest with you, I really do. And the way that the world is right now. Because in order for minds to come together, because the devil separates us and scatters us abroad or whatever, you have to conquer the Dead Sea. You know, the human body's filled with 80% water. I consider all these wanderers to be a part of the Dead Sea. It's unfortunate. It's hard to fellowship in this world. But what I'm telling you is that Mother, this technological system, is testing. Mother is testing those to see who are awake. And if you are not consciously awake, then that fallen angel is going to come and reap your body. J.D. Vance was coming up on the Democratic side. He is now running as a Republican. That is way off. This is something that I know. You are being tested. In former lifetimes, when you, on this side of the timeline, they would this system would have on purpose have one side of the argument be daft, because this system knows that people should be sleep or dead over here, spiritually dead. When you're spiritually dead, you become a commodity. This is the reaping or the purge. You know, there's people who get snatched up off the roads on this side of the timeline and killed in the basement. Young females, you know, you know, I get frustrated because I can't have a girlfriend, and I didn't know why. I thought it was on the other side of the timeline. So in order to deal with it, because you start going crazy, you know what I'm saying? If you can't get, you know what I'm saying, some young lady or have a girlfriend or anything like that, and isolation starts fucking with you and all sorts of type of shit. And I said, you know, it's like the thing that the situation I would want, I have to kill that situation, and I do that by cracking jokes. Okay, but I wouldn't crack a joke on anybody understanding this side of the timeline, male or female. You understand what I'm saying? I know where I'm at now. I know what's going on. I know it's like this is not controlled chaos. This is just chaos. This is complete destruction on this side of the timeline. Time doesn't even move correctly on this side of the timeline. All right? And part of that quantum pollution is J.D. Vance being, okay, a Republican. That's completely wrong, because J.D. Vance was running as a Democrat for vice president under Kamala. Kamala selected him. There was several articles on it. It was a lot on that. And now they got him staged as a Republican. This is mother, okay, seeing if people are actually conscious. And for those individuals pertaining to this conscious, which I'm not sure if I'll be here at the point in time that they do the voting, but in former lifetimes, if you voted for the wrong party that had daft circumstances and things of this nature, like Donald Trump not answering questions and things, that they're doing that. They do that on purpose to see if individuals are awake. If you're not awake, then these percentages in polls, the same way I look at psychology, so does the Reaper. Okay? What it's going to do, he's going to thrust in a sickle, and he's going to gather all of those commodities because he could utilize them for their body and their labor force and their resources and their money. These individuals wouldn't even know if they were cheated out of a lot of money on this side of the timeline. Well, you know, they optimize and they could recoup a lot of money pertaining to that. Okay, so this is a very real thing. It's very important for people to be awake. But you know, anytime you have to vote, anytime you have to be a part of a system or a poll or something like that, with your information, how are you doing? You have to be aware of how the government utilizes your information. And part of the utilization of your information is to figure out your psychology. The next step from there is they start targeting for your finances and resources. Many people in former lifetimes, 2 times Trump's, when he got elected, you voted for the right person, and I was for Trump on that. But right now, Trump, the one that's running right now, that is a puppet. That is not the same Trump from former years. Okay? When you listen to Kamala, okay, she has many voices inside of her body. Okay? People don't have an ear like that. And when you have abilities like that, I can't walk around and say like, okay, pay attention to this voice or micro expressions and things of this nature, because people will say, dude, you're nuts. Because, of course, if you're a human being, you can only have 5 senses, correct? But just because science says that you have 5 senses, it does not say that you do not have more than 5. And nobody has been able to prove me wrong up until this point. Still out of the nut house with all the things that I said. How long does it take? It may take a little while, but people eventually find that I'm correct. Usually through hindsight bias. I like to do things before they happen. Lo and behold, I live in a world where individuals come out of portals. When you start seeing these things, you're on the opposite side of the timeline, or what they call the dark side of the moon. This is where people psychologically die, or what they call become spiritually dead. If you shine too bright, you'll stand out. So you want to be plain as fuck in public. Where I said back in the early 90s, people were 85% schizophrenic, it is much more than that here. It's damn 99%. And there are worse things to get transmitted through sex than fucking STD. When you talk about soul ties, we're talking about the bringing down of your psychological structure with who you mate with. Okay? So you want to be very careful. All right? So I would say for this run or whatever's going on for this side of the timeline, be careful, because J.D. Vance, as far as I know, was Democrat. Kamala selected him herself. Now he's running as a Republican. They're running a test on you with all of the politicians. Okay, the system is doing this. The Antichrist, the one you call mother. And remember, he has the ability to change times and laws. All right. So if he could change times and laws, then this is how individuals are able to go to jail. Again, in throwing individuals in jail based upon circumstances, this is also a thrusting in of the sickle. This is called reaping. This is a harvesting of souls. The reason why people don't see it is because they're carnally minded. If you're carnally minded, the Bible says you're dead. People don't get it. This is why I pay attention to how people walk, because if people just kind of wander or they don't walk with any purpose, then it tells me that they're psychologically adrift. These individuals can be manipulated and used as commodities any sorts of the type of way. And I got to tell you, your CIA, FBI, when you're walking or so on and so forth in society, especially in suburbs, and some cute lady walks by you with glasses on and things of this nature. Before I mentioned on my podcast that glasses was a thing for me, now all of a sudden they come out of woodwork. Look, when Satan fails with you and all the other sorts of the matter, the last thing he does, he did it to King Solomon, he sends in the women. That's what happens. And then you got dudes out there in society saying like, yo, I'm really running game, and I really got X, Y, and Z going on. All right. How deeply are they looking into their mates? They're going to be ripped apart from their heart. All right. It's more effective to do these things this way, because when you're utilized as a living commodity, you could reap too many benefits, even outside of money. Okay, this is what's going on. So it was a great debate between J.D. Vance and Tim Walz. Here's my issue. My issue once again is this. J.D. Vance, they have him on the Republican side. That's not how it was. So either something was wrong then or something was wrong now. And even if it wasn't wrong then it's definitely a much bigger issue where your internet and the information that's getting streamed to your home is all fucked up. This is a Stasi tactic. They used it to confuse the public and society, not to mention the fluoride in our toothpaste. Hopefully you got clean teeth. I'm out.